It's 2 minutes after 8 here on the AM show. If you've just joined us, you missed a lot, but we've still got a lot to come. Joining us is Maxwell Agbagba. He's usually our roving man, but he's roving in the studios this morning, I guess.
Maxwell, how are you? Good morning to you.
Good morning to you too, Roland.
So there's some kind of controversy that is brewing.
Yeah.
Has been brewing since yesterday evening.
But it's been rather very quiet. Now we want to talk about it.
Okay.
But you were there. So tell us what happened at Gimpa, what Raymond Atuguba said, what does Justice Doche and the judges, why are they not happy with him and the research?
Okay. I don't know if you want to know why it has been on the quiet and, you know, people are not really talking about it, even though it's controversial. At a point that it happened, sometime around 4:30 p.m., 5 p.m. thereabout, all the media houses had left.
Okay, so let's start from the very beginning.
Okay, so let's start from
what events was this?
Okay, so this event was the GIMPA 2018 Law Conference, which brought together, students of the law faculty at the GIMPA, law school. We also had some justices of the Supreme Court. Very top people.
Yeah, the Chief Justice
in the judiciary. The Chief Justice herself was there, and I was a bit surprised that she sat through from morning till evening. She came there very early in the morning, sat through all the sessions. Madam Betty Mo, the judiciary, was also there. VCRAC Crab was also there. All the top people were there at this particular event, and Professor Raymond Atuguba was billed to speak on a particular subject, but he chose to do a presentation that sought to look at the voting patterns of justices of the Supreme Court. So from 1993 to 2018, he looked at the voting pattern of the justices and the political authority, or let me say the political party that appointed them. And from that, study, he came to the conclusion that a lot of them leaned towards, the political parties that appointed them when it comes to voting on political issues.
Okay.
So if you have a controversial political issue where you do not have a unanimous decision from the judges, maybe 5-4 and all those things, there are times when their political ideologies usually would come to play in the determination of that particular case. But that didn't go down too well, for some of the justices. But first of all, maybe we want to see during the question time, he had to respond to some of the questions that came up on the floor. Let's listen to some of the answers that he had to give. Yeah.
We even went ahead to look at the political context as captured by the media around each case. Otherwise, you can't even identify that this is a political case. Your starting point is to identify 100 political cases. And if you don't look at the facts and the parties involved and the political discussions around it and the MPP supporting it for one party and the NDC supporting the other party, you cannot arrive at the decision that this is a political case that needs inclusion in the 100. So we did that. It is true that where the law is clear, really, you can't import politics. But the identifying thing about these cases is that they are actually cases where the law is not clear. In the clear cases, the judges are normally unanimous. In this set of cases we are analyzing, the judges are actually divided, giving evidence that the law is not clear, such that 4 people are here and 5 people are there. Okay. And when the law is not clear, that's where ideology comes in. Nana Esquivia Santi, again, very important comments, but in our history from 1993, there's an almost equal number of judges being promoted from lower levels and being imported from outside. So that's where your theory would fall, because beginning with President Kufuor, he brought in fresh people from outside the bench onto the Supreme Court, then other presidents followed. So there's a balance between those who went up and those who came laterally. No, in fact, Databa is one of the exceptions, according to the analysis. Yes. But from your comment, what I'll add to the analysis is to disaggregate the judges who came from promotion and the judges who came from lateral and run the analysis only for them and see what it comes up. So I'll do that. The lady justice, it's not about the integrity of the judges. No, this is not about judicial integrity. All I'm saying is this. I took 100 political cases. I analyzed the voting patterns. The voting patterns coincided with the parties who appointed them to power. I shouldn't be answering the questions here. Someone else should be answering the questions. It is not a coincidence that this happened. To convince me that it's a coincidence, you need to give me arguments that it is a coincidence. So, for whatever it's worth, let's put this analysis in the mix and try and improve the debate around the justice system. And finally, Mr. Justice, I would never insult anyone, not to talk of judges of this. No. I cannot do that. I'm engaged in a critical analysis of our political institutions. And critical analysis always meets opposition. The first time I did a critical analysis of the police, the next morning, 8 fully armed police officers were dispatched by the IGP to come and arrest me from my office. So words are just nothing to me. It's all good that we have gotten to the point where we now oppose with just what? Words. So it's not an insult, it is just putting out analysis there from which we can improve our democracy. I've heard what the Lady Chief Justice has said, and I'm going to consider that. In fact, so far I haven't released this analysis. And when we started, I told my research assistants, when you finish, delete it from this laptop. And let me keep the analysis for now till I know what I'm going to do with it. But I don't know when we are going to get to a point where I've done another research project on appointments by presidents. So I took all the ministers from 1993. All of them found their ethnic backgrounds, then cross-tabulated it with the presidents who appointed them. Again, the results are like this. But immediately I bring that thing out, there will be commotion. So the question I have for you is, what should we do with this analysis? Should we stop doing them? Should we have another way of funneling it to the public? What should we do?
No, Prof, don't stop doing the research. We like it. Listen, Maxwell, I'm excited because, and I know that, you know, this is very controversial. We would get different reactions coming from this. But let's put this conversation in proper perspective. He says this research was done from, you know, looking at 1993
to
but
2018.
Just not too long ago, we were happy about this 25th anniversary of the Fourth Republic. And we say it's the longest, you know, it hasn't been interrupted like the other ones.
Exactly.
And so if he's doing an analysis or research covering this period, we should be excited. And I'm really looking forward to the one on the ministers that he mentioned, also from 1993. But also saying there that a previous one that he did on the police, he woke up and he found 4 police officers
in front, 8 police officers actually in front of his house. Trying to arrest him.
So we wonder what has happened to him this morning, because this is on the judges. But this is intense. So what kind of reaction did he get? Okay,
he delivered this, you know, in front of all, I mean, the justices who were present there. As I mentioned earlier, we had top people coming, and right in front of them, I mean, he did the presentation.
And Justice Doche was the moderator.
Was the moderator, you know, for the event. So he actually made the first comment and said he thought that the presentation was actually an insult of the highest order to the judiciary.
We have him?
We have him. So we can watch Justice Jones Doche right now.
You are entitled to your views, but I thought that when we meet, and this gathering is essentially justices of the Superior Court, you come, we are assembled here, and you drum this into our ears, I think it is an insult of the highest order. But as judges and as academics, I think we accept it. We'll look at your entire presentation in context. Thank you very much. In the context in which we live in this country, and especially having occupied a very high political position in the country, he must be a bit cautious about the type of language and exercise he carries out, especially the last words of his presentation. The time to act is now. What does that mean? Is he inviting the public to drive us out from our offices? You know, it amounts to, it's capable of different meanings. So if you are illegal, you can say that. But immediately you go out. And then the learned professor says the time to act is now. So let us act. And then it starts. So please, we have had history behind us. So we must be careful what we say and do at all particular times.
Wow. Okay. What's next?
Okay, so we also had comments coming from the Chief Justice. She says, I mean, it's
also reacting directly.
Yeah,
to
reacting directly
Raymond
to
Atuguba.
Raymond Atuguba.
Okay.
She says this is very new to Ghana, and she wants Professor Atuguba to actually tread cautiously.
The research,
I mean,
the
findings.
findings.
No, in terms of the leanings, the ideology, and the democracy, okay. You know, the whole thing in context.
No, in terms of the research itself, because, I mean, if you go to the US, it is done where, I mean, political analysts look at the political leanings of the judges. So you know that Kagan was actually nominated by Barack Obama. So you know that she would tilt more towards Barack Obama's party, I mean, Democrats and all of that. So she thought that, I mean, it was American. Introducing him to this culture, he needs to tread cautiously on that one.
Wow.
So we can watch her, the Chief Justice herself, making the comments on the floor.
Professor Raymond Atuguba. Others have said whatever they have to say. One thing is that under our constitution, a judge will be appointed during somebody's time. And that somebody, most likely, until we get an independent candidate who wins, that somebody will belong to one party or the other. After you have been appointed, it's up to any Tom, Dick, and Harry to put whatever political sprinkling they want to put on what has motivated your decision. But so long as it is in line with the law and it is sound and follows the facts, well, your view is as good as mine. But I think that, yes, you know, it's an American type of research that you have done. That's fine, but please be careful. Talking about importation, be careful what you're importing into our environment. They are used to that, we are not. We can stand here and accept what you're saying without walking out. We didn't. We didn't walk out. I don't think there was a single judge who agreed with what you were saying. But we didn't walk out. Maybe you need to add a little, what the Bible says, salt to what you have presented. And make sure, because our society and the environment is completely different from the American one, which has developed its own systems. We've never had this kind of thing. People can think whatever they like, but when it receives the imprimatur of a professor, it becomes dangerous. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the Chief Justice there, reacting to the, and I think that, you know, I don't want us to get it twisted. We're not reacting to Raymond Atuguba. It is the findings, because this was a research that was done. But it's so easy to, you know, to not connect the two. Please go ahead. Do we have more?
Okay, so the next person to also comment on the same issue was an appeals court judge, Justice Charity Labi. She was not happy, and she thinks that the research is actually an attack on the integrity of the judiciary. She spoke quite emotionally. Yeah, let's watch her right now.
I got a little worried listening to you because, to my mind, as if we were questioning the integrity of our Supreme Court judges when they sit on constitutional matters or on political cases. If you read the judgments well, it's a pity we couldn't get all the judgments you analyzed. They give reasons for the decisions they take. And when it's constitutional matters, they all write individually, and each of them will assign a reason for taking their decisions. And if we are to agree with you that because they've been appointed during a certain political era, they tend to give judgments leaning towards the party that appointed them, then I start getting worried, because then it's going into the integrity of our judges, that our judges can bend decisions to suit governments that appointed them. And that is not it, because when you read every judgment that they gave as Supreme Court judges, they assign reasons, and it has passed on to us at the Court of Appeal and the lower courts that we must assign a reason every time for taking that stand. So please, for academic purposes perhaps, well, you are doing your research and publishing it, but I think it should not get out there from this room, that perception. The perception to the outside Ghanaian that this is what the highest court does anytime they sit on constitutional cases and certain political cases. Please tone down your language. Let's give our Supreme Court judges the respect they deserve, and let's uphold the integrity that they have. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Maxwell, let's go back.
Yeah.
Is this Professor Raymond Atuguba making personal disclosures, or this was based on the research that he did? Take us back there again.
Okay. In his introductory remarks, he said it is a research that he has done, and he took 100 political cases, all dating from 1993 down to 2018. In fact, he says he's got into, he's completed with 78 cases right now. He's done with 78 cases. And for all the cases that he has analyzed, he has seen that for the voting pattern of all the judges, they seem to lean towards the political authority that appointed them, especially on political, cases. He says that in instances where the law is clear-cut and clearly defined on an issue, you do not get this, arising. But in times where the law is not too clear and you sort of like have a lacuna, that is when you have the political ideologies of these judges, come into play. And that results in them, voting in favor of the political authority that appointed them.
Amazing. And the judge is obviously not happy with him.
Not happy at all.
But this is a piece of research that is crucial.
Yeah.
And when he says that he's done previous ones, and the responses that he got wasn't good, this is the same. This is no different from police officers
one thing,
coming to your house the following day and saying they are coming to arrest you.
But one thing that he said also was that he thinks that it is important for us to be able to scrutinize the judiciary.
Yeah.
He feels that the executive has there are other arms of government that act as a check on the executive and then the legislature. But he thinks that there's no arm of government that acts as a check on the judiciary, but the judiciary acts as a check on itself. And he mentioned some cases and says that, I mean, for instance, he mentioned the Asari versus Attorney General, you know, case, for instance. He said the judiciary actually favored its own. Because he's saying...
Which of the cases?
Because he was a former registrar.
Because we have a lot of Asari versus Attorney General.
Okay, so he's talking about the case about the General Legal, you know, Council.
Okay.
In fact, in his presentation, he mentioned that if the Constitution were to be applied fully,
just a recent case, you mean?
Yeah, all the members of the General Legal Council should have been in jail by now. And mind you,
he said that on this occasion.
He said that when the Chief Justice was actually there. We know the Chief Justice is a member of the General Legal Council. And he said they should have been in jail by now for not, you know, ensuring the passing of the airline that would sort of give us clear-cut definition of the entry requirements.
Because they had been carrying out an illegality for such a long time.
You know,
interesting.
So that was what actually happened on the floor. I mean, he was quite emphatic. I mean, you heard him saying that words really does not.
But in order to enrich our conversation, also, we always want to get the best of literature as it is available. And the Chief Justice rightly said that if you take a look at the American system, because of the culture and the social cultural settings, it was acceptable for you to know that Robert Jackson, who is a Supreme Court judge, has a certain leaning politically, whether to one side of the political divide or not, and that is known to the public. And
but we don't deserve that as Ghanaians.
Well, so a research was undertaken by one Andrew D. Martin, and then Kevin M. Quinn. You can get this from justice.org. And he says researchers have carefully analyzed the judicial rulings of the Supreme Court, the votes and written opinions of the justices of America, as well as their upbringing, their political party affiliation before they became justices, their speeches, editorials written about them at the same time, and the political climate in which they are appointed, and confirmed that they voted according to the political systems and structures that appointed them. So over time, he says he continues by saying that the ideological leanings of justices and the drift over time can be seen clearly in research results of various scholars which have been accepted across the world and the United States of America. Okay, so if that is the case, I think then we should also start a debate by saying we want to enrich our knowledge. We want to enrich the democratic dispensation that we're practicing. Because the Supreme Court's case on the election petition brought to us close to how the Supreme Court operates.
Exactly.
The activities of judges, how they felt or didn't feel.
Even the voting patterns. So it still falls in line, really.
So really, do we want, as Abraham Lincoln would say, a system of governance by the people, for the people? If we want the people to be part of the system of governance, and of course we will have the political elite or the ruling elite, but we have to make the people feel part of the governance structure. And it includes all these.
Exactly.
I know.
Transparency, accountability, openness.
Very key.
But we can understand the judiciary because it's been such, it's been close.
It is still close.
Yes, still very tight for a very long time. So, you know, but I appreciate one thing though, for them to be there to hear it from the beginning to the end. And even though Justice Droche disagreed with him, he ends up, you know, well, that they take it. Even though he would have loved that it had not been delivered in the manner that, you know, because it's almost as if, because if you say time to act is now, and I kind of find that, well, I don't know what to say exactly.
I think that's semantics, you know, you're just trying to, because people can pick it from any other angle that they want to pick it from. You know, it could be that, I mean, we shouldn't be pretentious about the fact that these things happen. Let's wake up to the reality. It could also mean what he is talking about. So that's what he wants Raymond to come.
I know that we have some fine lawyers watching the show this morning, a few of them wanting to react. So we will take the reactions, but we're pleading with you. This is not an MPP, NDC kind of matter.
No, not at all.
It is not that kind of conversation at all. We're not going along those lines. We're going along the lines of still building our democracy. We pride ourselves in the fact that from 1993, we've had 25 years of this republic, and we're so proud of that. We saw the president and all our former presidents line up not too long ago to give thanks to God for how far he's brought us, for how far we've been able to hold it together. And I'll appreciate it if we don't make this personal about Mr. Tuguba, but it is all about the research, because really we want these kinds of research, and because nobody has thought about, maybe somebody thought about that, but they didn't do it. Maybe they were afraid of what the feedback would be. But if he's been able to do it, and this is not the first time, he's also been talking about reforms in our court systems for a very long time as well.
And we shouldn't forget that government of the day, because our constitution mandates or obligates the president to be the one that will nominate Supreme Court judges, and that even the good professor himself could be one day appointed. We should be real.
Exactly.
Recently, when we had the SP, that is the one who was supposed to be the nominee, Martin Amido appear, he said, even in the Supreme Court, we've had political party general secretaries, and I know one particular person who is there and had been a very good friend of mine, even though older. I used to interview him a lot. He's a Supreme Court justice. The thing is, our society is evolving. Before you become a justice of the Supreme Court, you may not have been a career judge. Okay? You may have been a private legal person, and then you're taken to the next level. So, do we want people to appreciate?
Don't we all vote?
Do we want to appreciate the issues or not?
It's interesting. Well, we're built to speak to Mr. Japam Mesa, who is a lawyer and also member of parliament, but we can't get through to him now. But we also know that Gary Nimakumafo is also watching us. All the lawyers are watching, and everybody is listening. So we appreciate that. We'll be getting a lot more reactions at 10 on News Desk. This is such a hot finding that, you know, we want to milk it. This thing doesn't happen often. So about what time was this whole program over?
It was over, I think, around 6 p.m. But the presentation, this section actually ended around 4 p.m.
Okay.
15, 4,
so
15,
since the cameras may not have captured, how was going out for Professor Tuguba? How was it like?
Well, in fact, I observed him whilst he was moving from the podium to his car. And you could see that, I mean, a lot of the people who came were happy with how he was able to confidently deliver this.
And the lots were made up of who?
I mean, these are students of the Gimpa Law School. You had some other lawyers also coming. So from the interaction and with how people were moving to him, you could see that, I mean, it's something they also want to talk about, but they've not, been able to
unless you're
gather
at his
the
level.
confidence to,
unless you're at his level, you can't do this. I mean, that's a very respectable lawyer, one who is also very much respected by judges as well. And that's why they would take this in. All right, Maxwell, thank you very much for this. And, we hope that we've all educated ourselves well enough. So after this, we're jumping on into our relationship segment. Since you didn't rope for us, Maxwell.
You
do you have a girlfriend?
Have you had a girlfriend? Now you don't have.
No, wait, this is the first time somebody's doing this to me on TV.
No, have you?
Live on air?
Do you have a girlfriend or not?
I think it's complicated.
Right. You're one of those who don't use a girl's picture for a DP on Valentine's Day.
Is it that she doesn't like you? You haven't been able to make it work?
No, it's complicated. It means he has more than one.
No, not really.
Not really.
Not really.
So are you looking?
Masa.
Okay, Masa, listen, the question I really want to ask you.
Let's pose a question.
Forgive me for the earlier ones. How do you make a relationship work? We're talking. I mean, we're not experts. So, we're just
It could be from your experience or the parent.
How do you make a relationship work?
Or somebody.
I think relationships are all about, constant communication and knowing what the other person, likes. And I think the main ingredient is constant communication, because there have been times that, communication is not really there.
You've been too busy.
You've been too busy with work and some other things, and then you realize that you're all drifting apart because of that.
Yeah.
But when you ensure that there's constant communication, yes, I think it is a spice for every relationship, getting to understand, yourselves better.
Yeah.
The moment that does not come, then it means something definitely is missing.
So
I think
that's why
communication is really key.
Yeah, that's why it's complicated for you, huh?
Yeah, because I'm too busy with work.
Yeah. It is well, eh? It shall be well. It's
so
not
like
easy.
you don't have money or or girls don't like you.
He said communication. He didn't say money. So stay with us. Since he feels like he's been put on the spot, we're going to let him go. Or you want to join us?
No. He will not be.
I don't know if I have so much expertise on relationships.
No, you can't.
I told you we are not experts.
We're not help.
like experts.
We don't want him. We'll choose somebody else.
Stay with us. Get ready to join us because we're going to open the phone line 030221. No, wait, hang on. 211-691-102. 030221169102. Yeah, that's like some research that I've just done.
Yeah.
So stay with us. Get ready to join us when we come back. We're also going to go on Facebook because we put this on Facebook, and it's an open conversation. We're learning from each other. No one is an expert here. We're not judging. Stay with us.